Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is going to be a monthly budget recap for the month of October 2022 in my Budget by Paycheck workbook from the Budget Mom. If you're interested in seeing that, please stick around. As I said in my introduction, this video is a budget recap for October 2022. I thought we would start off in my monthly view. That way you could see that all of my bills are checked off. All of my savings challenges, which are in yellow, have been checked off. There is a little bit of orange on this page. That's the color that I use when I will likely be pulling from a sinking fund. So my father's birthday was in October and I did pull from my birthday sinking fund. It was also Halloween. I didn't need to pull from my holiday sinking fund for candy because I actually wasn't here for Halloween. I was on vacation, but I did check it off that that holiday has passed. I do want to start off with my net worth. This is something that I didn't do before 2022. I never used to figure out my net worth. And so I did have a goal for 2022 of figuring it out every month. I've done fairly well with that goal. I did not figure it out in July, and that's because I didn't actually even close my budget in July. There was just a lot going on and I didn't have the bandwidth, I think, to do it. I did this review actually on the 8th of November. Usually I do my net worth and close out my budget the last day of the month, but I was away. I was on vacation, so I closed it the day after I got back. And I do have last month's net worth listed up here, which we will use to do some calculations at the end. This page in the Budget by Paycheck workbook is split up into assets and liabilities. I do like to keep the specifics of my assets private, but my total assets for the month of October added up to be $192,895.93. With regards to my liabilities, my two liabilities are my student loans and my car payment or my car loan. Those two added up together do equal $68,087.49. When we go further down on this sheet, you will see that there's a way to calculate your net worth. So it's basically your assets minus your liabilities, which for me equals out to $124,808.44 for the month of October, which is an increase from last month of $6,965.17 and a percent change of 5.9%, which is really exciting. I have had a couple of times this year where I've had a negative change in my net worth, so it's nice to see a positive one. Moving on, the next page that I fill out in the Budget by Paycheck workbook is, oh wait, did I miss one? Hang on a second. I think I missed one. Yeah, okay, so I missed the debt payment plan. Now, as you can see, there's not a lot written on here. This is also a page that I just started using recently. Since using the Budget by Paycheck workbook, I basically have not been paying on debt because student loans were on hold, and that was my only debt until June 2022. So now that I have debt for my car loan, oh sorry, I have like fuzz from my shirt. Now that I have debt from my car loan, I did want to start using this page, and I did a better job of using it in September, but I'm going to be honest, some of it is a little bit confusing to me. Like, am I supposed to put the balance as of the end of the month, the beginning of the month? I'm not quite sure. Figuring out all of this down here is still a little bit confusing to me. I don't know. I gotta kind of figure it out. I think it might be something that I end up like legitimately tackling in the new year. But I am gonna try next couple months to be a little bit better with it, or to try to figure out these equations a little bit better. I think it's just like if I did it incorrectly one month, it can kind of like filter over. So overall, I really just made one debt payment in the month of October. I did at one point want to put a little bit extra towards debt. I ended up not being able to do that, so only my usual car payment. The next sheet that we're going to talk about is my personal favorite sheet with regards to budget closeout, and that is the monthly budget category breakdown, which is one of the Where Did My Money Go worksheets. Let me just zoom out a little bit more. Okay, we'll do that. So hopefully you guys can, maybe I can zoom a little bit in. There we go. Okay. So this to me is like my favorite sheet. I get the most information out of this sheet. I love, love, love doing this sheet. It does start out at the top here with figuring out your total monthly inflow. Now for the budget mom, it's really not just earned income. It's all forms of money that is coming in or you are using. So your starting balance is what you have in all of your accounts, checking, other checking accounts, cash at the beginning of the month, at the first day of the month. And for me, that was $1,009.92. My earned income for me is strictly what I make in my full-time job, and that for the month of October was $6,009.88. Other income for me is, did somebody repay me for something? Did I have a refund for something? If I got paid from like Amazon, Amazon, because I am an affiliate, my Amazon stuff, my wish list, and my favorites and all that is always in the description box. Etsy, AdSense, or YouTube, all of that would be under other income. Now, I think I've commented in the past, I don't really make a lot of money on Etsy. Sometimes I get like some orders. I actually got really excited because there was one week there that I got like a bunch of orders, which was really exciting for me, except that I was due for paying all my Etsy fees, and so I didn't actually make anything. I still ended up owing like $16, which they pulled out of my checking account, but that's okay, better than like the normal amount of fees that I would have had to pay. So I'm not really in the green in my Etsy. I'm still actually probably in the red for the year since I opened up my Etsy shop. So I like that I have things available on Etsy. I like providing resources for you all. And so I don't have any intention of like closing down my Etsy shop per se. I feel like even if I'm a little in the red with my Etsy shop, I do make some money here on YouTube. I don't get paid monthly from YouTube. I don't have enough revenue to do that. You need to reach $100 before you get paid out. And so I usually get paid out maybe once every 3 to 4 months. So I've only received like maybe 2 YouTube or 3 YouTube payments ever. I will start getting better about sharing that with you or trying to make that obvious to you when I do get them. But for me in the month of October, I think it was mostly just people paying me back for things. And I think I had a refund of 1 or 2 things that I had purchased that I returned. And then I did use some savings. And so that's a separate section here. And if we add all of that together, it does total to $8,150.83. Now, because the budget mom has a zero-based budget, your inflow, or what you had coming in, needs to equal to what you had going out. And this all here, your budget category breakdown, allows you to see what you had going out and where it was going. So for me, groceries has a budget of $400. That's basically what I spend or what I budget each paycheck multiplied by 2 because I get paid bi-weekly. I only spent $290.74 on groceries. That's about average for me, I would say, like anywhere between like $200 and $300. I actually probably thought, well, no, it's maybe November. That might be a little bit less. I left for vacation right at the end of the month, so it really wouldn't have factored into this, but maybe in November, my eating at, or my groceries might be a little less. So I was under budget by a little over $100. Eating out, I was really excited. I was under budget by almost $100. I only spent $52 on eating out in the month of October. That's been a hard one for me this year, so that made me really happy. Gas, I spent $104. This was actually a little bit more than I would say has been the usual for me since I bought my new car. It is a hybrid. It's good on gas. But I did have a couple of longer trips in October that I knew were going to kind of like put me a little bit over the edge in terms of gas, my usual gas usage. For miscellaneous, this also made me really excited. I was under budget in miscellaneous. I only spent $178, so I was under budget by over $100. Miscellaneous bills was quite a lot. $1776.80. I don't ever have a budget for that, but that's a little bit unfortunate. So definitely I'm hoping to rein that in for November. Savings, I was actually very under, which was unfortunate as well. $1774.35. Utilities. So that was $363.28, which is over by a little over $13. That was pretty much because of an issue with my phone bill. So with my cell phone bill, my plan on my cell phone increased by like $15, or it might have been, yeah, by about $15. And I ended up calling because I was like very confused as to why there was a random increase. And they basically told me that the plan that I was on was so old that they were allowing me to grandfather in with it because they had just changed all their plans, but they were basically charging me $15 extra a month to grandfather me in with that plan. So I ended up asking about newer plans and figuring out that I could get a new plan with unlimited data, which I didn't currently have, and it would cost me less. Not less per se, pretty much the same as my bill was before the increase. So that seemed like a good idea to me. Might as well pay less for more, right? Because I didn't have unlimited data. So here is with that extra $15. But you'll see come November, the utilities will be a little bit more even with what my budgeted amount is, and that's because my phone bill will have gone back to normal. Housing, that's just my rent, was $600. Giving, I was over a little bit here, which is never a bad thing. I ended up spending $164. For debt, it was basically, like I said, just my usual car payment. And then for travel, I pulled almost $970 from that sinking fund, $25 from my medical sinking fund, and only $24 from my birthday sinking fund. Now, it was my dad's birthday, and that's why I used my birthday sinking fund. The issue, and I think I've done this like twice, at least twice this year. I think I did it with my sister too. I purchased my dad something from a store. I used my credit card so that I would get a benefit. And then I forgot to pull the money from the birthday sinking fund when I paid that bill. And I definitely did that with my sister too, either my sister or my mom. So I spent more than $24 on him. I just used a credit card and then paid that credit card off. And honestly, for me, it's not like worth going back and pulling that money. So I did buy him something extra, and that's what I used the sinking fund for. So yeah, it's kind of annoying that I've done that twice. Like, hello, Jennifer, that's the point of the sinking fund. When you're figuring out this budget category breakdown, you do want to include your November starting balance, meaning what money is going to be in your checking account, any checking account you have, or available to you in cash at the first day of the following month. Because if you don't do that, you're going to be off. Remember, every dollar in has to match every dollar out. And even though that cash is still sitting with you, you're going to do something with it in November. So for me, my November starting balance was $1,372.20. If I add everything up together, it does total $8,150.83, which means I was off by $0 for the month of October, which is really exciting. We're going to now flip to the monthly debt and savings breakdown. This sheet for me is good in terms of making sure that my savings, the way I'm saving, is aligning with my goals, my saving goals. I definitely feel like I don't get as much out of it from the debt side just because I don't have a lot of debt, or like many debts. I only have two, my car and my student loan. And so you know, it's kind of easy for me to know which one's my priority. My priority is my car, basically. I know that. As you can see, I just have my car listed, and 100% of what I put towards debt this month went towards my car. For the saving side, instead of using our inflow to figure out percentage-wise what's happening with our savings, we actually just use our income. And for the budget mom, that is your, let me flip this over again. That is your starting balance, earned income, and other income. It does not include savings used, which to me makes a lot of sense. Why are we going to include savings to determine how much we've then saved? You know what I mean? It's a little silly. So anyways, My total monthly income was $7,131.83, and my total monthly savings, as I said on the last page, was $1,774.35. That means that I saved almost 25% of my income, which is great, but is a little bit low for me. Usually I try to save about $3,000 a month, and if I do that, it's maybe like 40-ish% of my income, 40 to 50% of my income. So yeah, a little bit low for me, but I'm still very happy with what I was able to save. I put $789.35 to my house, which was much less than I was anticipating, but I did have some other things I needed to put money towards. But that was 44.5% of what I saved this month. So clearly that is my number one priority when it comes to savings. The next highest percentage I had was for my sinking funds. I put $630 towards those, which was 35.5% of what I saved. That also aligns with my personal savings priorities, right? House is number one, sinking funds are probably number two, and then the rest of these are just kind of like equally important to me. I saved $40 for the $5 challenge, $151 for the 2022 challenge, $83 for the 52-week challenge, and $81 for my emergency fund. Now, I'm realizing this like on the spot, but I actually made an error when I was doing my my tracking for October, and I didn't realize this until like into November. So I accidentally, when I was tracking everything, forgot to track, I think it was like the 2022 savings challenges for the second paycheck in October, and I didn't realize it until November. And let me show if I could, on my November trackers, I ended up having to include them. So those savings amounts are not correct. Like here I had to like add in, where is it? Is it on here? No. Oh yeah, so I had to like add them in. I think it was all three of these things basically that I forgot to do. And so that means that some of this is actually not accurate, and I unfortunately didn't realize it until after I closed my budget, and I wasn't going to go back and change everything. So last page that we're going to talk about is the October monthly spending comparison. This to me is an interesting page. I feel like sometimes I utilize it and sometimes I just kind of like forget about it in a sense. I do think it's good for like shorter term goals and trying to make sure you're hitting those shorter term goals. I know for me, a lot of times I say like, I want to spend less on eating out. I want to spend less on miscellaneous. I want to spend less on miscellaneous bills. And this is the way to really know if you've actually achieved that from month to month. Now my income did go down by $2,800 from September into October, and that's really actually because September was a 3 paycheck month for me, and so my income or my inflow in September was higher than usual. With regards to comparing September to October, you can see that there's certainly a fair amount of red on here. A lot of that is these sinking funds. You know, if you're spending in a sinking fund one month and you didn't the previous, of course you're going to be over. So those last 4 rows I'm not as concerned about. For me, I did spend more on groceries, which is fine. I was still under budget. I spent a lot less on eating out, which was great, $150 less. For gas, I spent a lot more, which is fine. That was an obscenely low month for me, and I think that's because I had gotten COVID and I didn't drive for like 5 days, and so I basically ended up like getting gas right at the beginning of October. So miscellaneous I was under, which I'm very happy about, but I was over in miscellaneous bills when compared to September by a little over $300. So I definitely want to try to get that down for November. Utilities, very similar. Housing was less, but only because September was a little bit of an odd month for me. I paid my rent for September in September, and I paid my rent for October in September. If you go all the way back to my August budget recap, you'll see that I didn't spend anything on rent in August, and of course I did. It's just the way that things fell with my paycheck schedule. So yeah, giving a little bit over, not upset about that. And debt, I did put less to debt in October because I didn't make any additional debt payments. So The rest is just sinking fund stuff. I had my subscription sinking fund that I pulled from in September for my Amazon Prime membership, which I didn't have to pull from in October. I did pull again from my travel sinking fund in October. That was more than I had pulled in September. That was for my vacation I just went on. And then medical and birthday I didn't pull from in September, but I did in October. And that is it for my October monthly budget recap. I hope you found me going through the Budget by Paycheck workbook closeout sheets helpful. Certainly, if you have any questions about using those sheets, don't hesitate to put them down below. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.